Currently, in Portland it's 66 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, you can expect showers, with a low of 46 degrees.
Oh, hello, hello, hello. This is like flying a rocket. That's just what I said. I said, this is just like flying a rocket. I hope that one engine stays hot, meaning my camera that's wigging out. We had some system control issues. It's like, oh, we're looking at that. Do we have a go? Do we have a go? Take a pull. Miko, go.
Go.
Econ, go. Com, go. And
Red leader to gold leader. It's a go.
Jason Allen.
Well, since this is kind of like a rocket thing, I'm going to, for today, you can refer to me as Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
Anyway. Hello, everybody.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Such a decent day outside today. I decided to wear a little Hawaiian shirt with the pink flamingos. So we're in full effect today.
Uh-huh. I wonder how we're sounding. I just noticed, like I said, it's like all the technical stuff, and I'm looking at the board. I'm looking at the board here, mission control, and I'm noticing I don't know if that's a setting that was there before or not.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, does it sound okay in your headphones?
Yeah, it sounds pretty all right.
Okay.
So we should, hopefully we're not burning hot.
No, I just one of the processors. The fader is lower than because I thought they were normally, but maybe that might have been a change that I made, and I don't remember.
Well, it sounds good in my ears.
Okay, well, that's good. Hopefully it sounds okay out in the world.
Right.
I mean, I had so much to talk about, and we have so many. I just noticed too.
Yeah.
I just noticed because it's all because. We installed this new fireplace here.
Very toasty.
Well, we needed it. Here, why don't you? It's not in the right. Apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. What do we got?
Well, now the
lower thirds.
Yeah, everything's in the way. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, hang on. Here, because we need the fire today.
Well, we do. We do.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There, right. That's perfect. Excuse me, Lunger.
I had some issues though because I came down here a little earlier and I noticed it there, and I was trying to make s'mores, but it just wasn't working.
Well, you know why we need it, right?
No, why is that? Okay.
Well, I just realized I wasn't prepared, so
okay.
Use my untouchables here.
Yeah.
You brought the stuff, right?
I brought the stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here you go. Here you go, Jason.
Okay.
Here's your papers.
Excellent. Thank you.
You got the stuff?
The rolling papers? Yeah. This is 420 and all.
Oh, here. Maybe I've got some. Maybe I've got some here.
We've got the pipe.
Yeah, there's a little residue there.
Right.
I'll just
get together.
Wrap it.
Someone's calling me during the show. Buddha's calling me during the show. He knows I do this.
Yeah, he can call in the NuzBox number.
Right. Hold on here.
Hang on.
Hey, Buddha, I'm live on the air right now. If you can call our hotline, I'll talk to you live on the show. We're doing the show in the afternoon for the afternoon drive-by. Listen, it may or may not be 420 today, and we may or may not have any green gratitude.
I got it.
Doc is over there rolling his joint right now.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Not really a...
Anyway, I got to go, dude.
So I'm just going to kind of load it up here, Jason.
Right. I don't see it catching, though.
Kind of a cold fire, really.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, how about you? You good?
I couldn't even get past the rolling phase.
Yeah, I know.
I got so desperate, I just started to snort it.
I literally, at one point today,
yeah,
was listening to, other radio and things like that, like you do when you're doing other stuff.
Sure.
And then it would, of course, everyone talks about today is April 20th, 2018. And as a matter of fact, what time is it right now?
Oh, it's 4:18, so we're almost 4:20 at 4:20.
Yeah, we're at 4:18. Oops, I dropped my pipe. Sorry. But anyway, and I actually had the thought going in my head. I said, had we realized and prepared, because, we always prepare so well.
Yeah.
All the time.
Always.
Right? We're always prepared.
Right.
Oh, look, my lights are out. That's the problem.
Oh.
Hang on. Why are those lights out?
I don't know.
They were turned on.
Oh, wow.
God, everything.
That's all right. Hi, everybody. Hey, so I'm trying to roll this thing here, and it's not working out too well. So, I mean...
Okay, my lights are on now.
I'm going to drive... After the show, I'm going to go drive really fast, and then when I get pulled over by the police, I'm going to have this in the back of my ear
there we go. Yeah.
And say, what's the problem, officer?
Yeah.
They're going to ask me to step out. And...
Reminder to all those listeners and viewers
don't drive
out there. Remember, toking and driving is still a DUI. It's still illegal. It's basically like having a martini in your hand. You know, don't do it.
Just don't do it.
But anyway, yeah. So I realized that it was 4:20. See, look, my light's on now. God, I'm having this problem with this camera too, and it doesn't like me.
Well,
listen, I sound like I've been 420ing all day, right?
Right.
Oh man, dude.
Well, we've been puffing at the hookah since Dark 30, and now things are starting to catch up with us.
You know what my drug is right here, Jason.
That's right, caffeine.
Strong cup of coffee and a martini.
Yeah, and martini, yeah.
And a whiskey.
Yeah. Now,
champagne, and then...
I won't confirm nor deny that there may be some sort of edible chocolates that may be in the mix later as I sit down and watch Lost in Space. Yeah.
So the deal is... the deal is I was sitting there... I'm always doing this, adjusting my headphones. The deal is I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I was thinking... had we prepared...
Yes.
And we were really cool kind of online people.
Yeah.
We would have actually rolled some joints.
Right.
Lit them up, gotten high during the show on the air.
Right.
I'm sure people have done that. It's probably illegal. Actually, I think, little known fact, I actually believe it is illegal.
On camera? Yeah.
On the internet.
Oh.
There was a little known law. Well, I remember this from back in my BBS days.
Yeah.
BBS. You don't know what that is. Anyway.
Bulletin board?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. Bulletin board system. Back in the BBS days, there was a thing in the Telecommunications Act that you couldn't like, we'll have to look this up. You couldn't email while, under the influence. It was like a digital DUI.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which was just like, people would be like, hackers, people online, like myself, with your beer or whatever, like on the forums and stuff.
Yeah.
Like federal offense or something.
Poop. The back in the day when we did the Anarchy Loaded show that one time. Whoops.
Yeah.
Looks like that may have not been.
Well, I mean, you don't know anybody who's ever been busted for being, under the influence on the internet.
Zuckerberg's gonna show up, kick down the door because now he's playing nice with the feds.
That's right.
He'll kick in the door and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
That's right. I have to look that. See, I'd have to look that up. We'll table that. We'll table that. Yeah. If it's not true, it's an urban legend. But I do swear that there was an article once written going, technically, if you're drinking a beer and emailing someone, you're committing a offense by breathing. Yeah. Here.
I kind of like the term though, digital DUI, because it seems
pretty good.
It seems real cyber naughty.
It's cyber naughty.
It's like, how dare you? Or you got put down on you're going for that new raise at the job and they're making you fill out stuff and you're like, oh, digital DUI back in. So you've got a cyber felony.
Wow, I know, right?
That's like real on techno stuff. And
maybe they repealed. I don't know. It was just one of these weird sorts of things the
Cyber Volstead Act.
Yeah. It was just weird.
Prohibition.
So anyway. So it's 420. So I mean,
it is past now.
But you can do whatever you like to do. I'm not really a partaker. Yeah. Actually the news. There is some news about 420. Yeah. Now 420 is marijuana, is the THC,
right? The
cannabis, much like the cannabis plant next to you. That should be. We should actually.
This isn't a fern?
Yeah, it is. It is actually. It's actually, technically, that's bamboo.
No wonder I've been getting contact high for the last year.
Oh, yeah. Well, we come down here and water it every day. With IKEA water.
Only the best water?
Only the best water from IKEA.
That's right.
Comes in a plastic
This is
thing.
Real artisan stuff.
I know. Anyway, so... As if, meet the press. If you see a plant on there, it's not a real plant, right? It's like, it's like. Right?
So the next time you say, "Dude, what is Chuck Todd smoking?" You're like, "Oh crap, there really could be something that he's."
Now, as far as old, because we're old and we do curmudgeonly things.
Yes.
There was that famous thing.
Yeah.
That Johnny Carson, who used to host the Tonight Show.
Yes.
Legend, God.
Oh yeah.
We refer to him at least a saint.
Oh, at least
a sainthood of
Saint Johnny.
Yes, Saint Johnny.
Saint Johnny of Burbank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look in the talk show, Pantheon.
The Pantheon
of talk show.
The Valhalla of yes.
I think Joan Rivers is there too.
Joan's got to make it.
We got to put Joan Rivers in there.
Yeah, Joan's got to
have some gals in there too.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, around, is it Christmas time? Well, it was Christmas in spring, I think.
Yeah.
They had points. Now, do you say poinsettias or poinsettias?
Oh, I've always said poinsettias.
Okay, well, maybe it's rodeo or rodeo?
Rodeo. Tomato, potato.
But they would have those out there on the set, I think, and those were for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
The red ones. Mm-hmm. But then they also, this was the one I remember now.
Easter, right? They'd put out Easter poinsettias?
Yeah. I don't know. No, it was is it daffodils?
Ooh.
Now, and here's the thing. There's this place in Washington called, all with the words today, Willamette? No. Puyallup?
Oh,
Puyallup? Is that how you say it?
I can't say it at all, so I'm going to take yours for it.
Really?
Puyallup, yeah. P-U-L-L-U-Y-U-P or something like that. Puyallup.
And this is isn't this the daffodil capital of the country?
Wow.
Isn't it daffodils, the ones with the weird little...
I believe so.
Right?
I remember hearing something
You know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh, I do.
They have a festival. Oh. And you go out there in the field. I've taken pictures. Oh. It's very romantic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'll look it up right here. Puyallup, Washington. Puyallup.
Mm-hmm. So we were close.
UP, very good. Yeah. Is it? Oh boy! Hi there. We could ask our friend over here.
Yeah, we could ask her. She may know.
Media. No. I think it's daffodils. See, I don't know. I'm terrible at my daffodil fields. Yes. Okay. So it's the daffodils. What do they look like here? So there's these big daffodil fields, and actually there's what mountain is that? It's a beautiful. You go out in the field, and then there's a big, I don't know, is that Adams or is that St. Helens, whatever that.
Very picturesque.
It's and people go out there for the festival, and this is like the Puyallup is called like the daffodil capital of the world or the United States or the universe or something like that. Oh. So I think Carson, they'd actually ship him all these daffodils, and so in springtime when they'd have the big festival. One night on the Tonight Show,
you'd be full of
daffodils on the thing. Look it up.
I will.
That was a long trivia note, but it's true.
Yeah. Excellent.
Alexa, what is the capital of daffodils? That didn't come out right.
Only countries or certain regions within countries, such as states,
all right, thank
have
you.
capitals.
Stop, Alaska. I mean Alexa. I need to rename her Alaska.
Alaska, yeah.
Brother. Alaska. Alaska.
Alaska?
Brilliant.
Ooh.
You know, there's a new thing that just came out, and I don't have the link to it, where you can set up skills for your Alexa.
Yes.
It's up there. You seen that?
Yeah.
So you can make quizzes for your family. You could do tutorials. You can do family trivia. You can do all this other stuff.
Very cool.
Just, you know, it's all. You go up to the website and you click it on and load it on your Alexa, and you can share it with the Alexas. You can't share it like outside of your network, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
But like,
interesting
shopping list, games, jokes. You personalize birthday greetings. One of the things was if you have a babysitter or a pet sitter, there's a skill that you set up for instructions for the house.
Yeah.
So that you go in there, like you're going to house sit, you know, take the dogs and the cats for a walk or whatever.
Yeah, and Alexa's got it all figured out for
the chickens.
Like and then whole itinerary for you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for your cat and dog and kid sitter.
And if there's anything that I know that I need, it is more itineraries. Because left to my own devices, I usually just sit in a corner and or maybe read. But
it's getting warm now.
It is.
You like this?
I like it. It's very.
It's makeshift.
Just wait until Christmas comes around again. We can wear sweaters and.
You know what? It was supposed to be here for Christmas, but there was other things going on, so it didn't get set up.
Gotcha.
That's what happened.
Gotcha. Well, it's here now.
So now, with everything else going on, it was like, oh, here it is. Let's move it on in. It's again, actually, some of our set pieces are on loan.
Excellent. Well, you know, this is a cool thing. In the summertime, you can roast hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever you want to roast over the open fire, and it'll be like a campfire. We could sit around telling campfire stories. What do you think of that?
I like it.
We're like, hey, come on in. Sit down. We'll tell you stories.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. I was going to say the I have to look it up here. The our set pieces here are on loan. Oh, here it is. Yes, I wanted to get this right. This set piece, along with the Tom Peterson clock and some other pieces, and other wonderful pieces we may decorate our set with, are courtesy our set decorator sponsor.
Excellent.
On loan from the wonderful people in Section B2 of Antique Alley.
Yay! Section B2 Antique Alley. This is a big
go check them out. Go check out Antique Alley.
Hey, yo.
And go check out Section B2. You'll find original art, T-shirts, records, stereo equipment. There's even some of those. Is it Nagels? Is that what it is?
Legos?
No. the art. The girls on film, the ladies. The Duran Duran had a album cover once. It's the famous paintings from the '80s of the ladies.
Gotcha.
Is that Nagel? I think it's Nagel.
I'm gonna have to think about that. You may be right though. Yeah.
Or was that a dirty book guy? I don't know.
Wasn't that their
It's not an original.
Yeah, Rio or something like that.
Yeah. The Rio. Yeah.
Rio. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Nagel. Yeah, Nagel. I was right. Nagal. Patrick Nagel. Or Nagel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did the he did these actually the Duran Duran one was right here. I just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the Duran Duran one? Yes. This was the Duran Duran one, right? Well,
let me see.
There's a breast there. Well, never mind. Oh, here it is. Right here.
Okay, let's check it out.
So just Nagel. That guy.
That's yep.
Remember that guy? And that's the Duran Duran. That's the Duran Duran poster cover, I believe.
Yeah. Looks familiar.
Yeah. He did this kind of like art. I don't know what you'd call it. Kind of line art type ladies in the 80s.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's kind of like nouveau.
So the fine folks at Antique Alley B2. I'll pull up the picture on Facebook. It's right here. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. Oh, I don't want to see your breakfast, dude. If I can. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Here's the. Jeez. I know, right? It's a Friday. It's a 420 Friday. Here's the fine folks at B2. See, you've got records there. See, there's it's not really Nagel. It's like a print,
Nagel-esque.
Nagel-esque.
Yes.
But yes, oh look, a guitar, stereo stuff.
Nice.
All of the fine folks in section B2 of Antique Alley over in the Hollywood district.
Excellent.
Look it up. Over there, close by the excuse me.
Yeah.
Close by the Hollywood Theater.
Yeah.
Over there.
Hey, if we're giving shout-outs, we need to give a quick shout-out to the good folks over at the Pop Culture Northwest group on Facebook. They've been carrying our show live.
Nice.
And it's always good to see them. And as we kind of fumble about in our talking about pop culture and everything curmudgeon.
Hey.
Yes.
I gave you Carson. The Daffodil Festival in Puyallup, Washington, right? Right there, just boom, there.
And then
and a flyer.
And Nagel-esque, right?
Courtesy of Section B2, Antique Alley, in the Hollywood District of Portland, Oregon.
Go visit them today for all your antique needs.
Shout out to Betty and Clint. Who fine proprietors of sex. If you've never been, actually, I highly recommend anyone, if you really want to see, honestly, what kind of a taste of what old Portland was like.
Yeah.
Because until I've been there recently, I probably was there when I was a little kid with my grandma.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And there's still a diner upstairs. It's kind of like you walk in, and there's like a beauty shop and a post office. It's kind of like this. It's like this mini mall, but in a big building, city building, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of walk in, and there's little mini places. Not a big mall. We're talking mini mall. Like probably really, really cool in the 50s and 60s, right?
Yeah.
Probably like in 1960, it was like, this place is awesome.
Yeah.
This was before they built mega malls. And then there's these stairs that go downstairs.
Okay.
And that's Antique Alley.
I like it.
All in the basement, right?
I like it, yeah.
And there's this diner in there. I can't remember the name. It's like Norma's or Mary's or June's or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, have a grilled cheese sandwich.
One of those cool greasy spoons you walk into, and you eat the whole. It's just like a slice of Americana. You sit down, and of course you got to get yourself like a slice of pie, right? Because you can't go on any greasy spoon without getting a slice of pie. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you're in the mood for like a toasted cheese sandwich or something, because they're gonna put that down right in front of you in a heartbeat.
Oh,
that sounds awesome.
They actually have a website here, Antique Alley.
Oh.
Monthly events, antiquealleypdx.com.
Excellent.
They got pictures, monthly events, map and directions, links. Yeah, beauty salon, gifts, deli. I don't know what the name of the deli is. I gotta find out because it's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Deli.
Man, when I think deli, I'm thinking things like Rubens. And if I show up there for some Americana and they got a Reuben, I may not move out. I may just have my mail forwarded there. That could be...
42nd... It's not 42nd Street Station. It has like a... that might be the name of the place. See, I just killed it. But anyway, you know what it was for me when I was a kid? Patty melt.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That was like my go-to.
Yeah, it brings back so much memory.
That was kind of like that was like the equivalent of the little kid's Reuben.
Right.
You know,
there is nothing more quintessentially American than like a patty melt. I mean, no other nation on the face of the earth makes a patty melt like the good old U.S. of A does.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in the greasy spoons, the mom and pop joints. Here,
kid,
it'd
be greasy.
Here, kid, have some patty melt, right?
I grew up, I mean, it's interesting how my adult nutrition is entirely different from my Americana, really old school, I mean, we're talking hamburger helper, the mac and cheese.
Well, you need a helping hand, right? Kraft macaroni and cheese, hamburger helper, all that stuff is like...
And Grandma's stuff was always the best, though. She'd get, honest to God, she would get like these hamburgers, that were frozen in a stack.
Yeah.
They were just like the little... And the reason as a kid you liked them is because if you went to a burger joint, right, they were like these little thin frozen burgers. They weren't like these big meaty giant burgers. They were little thin dudes.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted a double or a triple, they just double, triple. Oh, look, there's 3 on there.
Yeah.
And so it's like even more grease and stuff.
Right.
And like she'd throw it in a cast iron pan.
Oh, yeah.
Just like grease it up, right?
Yeah.
And these were greasy too.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I don't even think, I don't eat meat, right? I don't eat meat.
Right.
Okay. Adult, vegetarian, plant-based, all the good stuff, right? But when I was a kid, I mean...
It's a rite of passage.
I remember, I think now if you eat beef, it's really low fat, right? Because back when I was a kid, like half the meat was grease, especially a burger. It was like, it was more grease, please. Hi, I would like some more grease, please.
Can you ladle it on? But
isn't that essentially au jus?
It is. It's au jus sauce.
Ladle, please label on the grease. I would like more grease. That's my we in case you're not familiar. That's my little kid voice.
Yes,
the little German boy. Chubby,
little Hans.
Basically, the kid that's in Willy Wonka.
Right.
In the chocolate
Willy Wonka.
Is it Willy Wonka? Which one's the real one?
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory?
Is it Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? Yeah. Yes, Charlie. The Gene Wilder one.
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, yeah.
Little fat kid, the German kid.
But the cool thing about Grandma's burgers,
could you ladle some more grease on my...
Right. I want to...
Thank you, Papa.
Can I dip my bread in there?
Yes, but that was the thing.
That was the thing. And Granny's burgers...
It would seep through the freaking white bread, dude.
Oh, yeah. It would stick to the bottom of the plate because it would, like, morph into it. But the cool thing about Granny's patties were, right, is... They were magic. No matter what, even though you'd think that they were just a stack of frozen beef on a thing, they were like magic granny patties. They were great.
Well, that was the thing. So this was kind of like... I think with the patty melt, they toast bread. Like...
Yeah, it was like an open-faced thing, too, right? They had like the bottom thing. And
wow,
then
you know what? I don't remember. Maybe you're right. You could be right about that.
I don't know. All I remember
it could be... Yeah. Well, we could look it up. A toasted bread, a meat patty,
yes,
onions,
maybe some cheese,
onions that are like
melted over the top,
onions that are like I think sautéed actually,
grilled onions, yes.
Grilled onions, and then yes, cheese. But what I remember the cheese, it wasn't your cheddar like your cheddar burger.
No,
Swiss cheese.
It was Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
put it over the top and it'd melt and it'd be all gooey and sticky and
it was gooey.
Yeah.
So much for my vegan plant-based podcast that I'm going to be doing soon. But here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing, Jason. No, I mean, here's the thing that's going on with the vegans.
Yeah.
You can do this now.
No, you can't.
In the world.
Yeah.
In the world, you don't have to kill a cow.
No.
You don't have to do anything like that. I mean, I stopped eating ground beef like when I was in my 30s. Oh, wait, I'm still in my 30s.
Yeah, you're 39.
Right. No, I stopped years ago. Like before the 21st century, I swore off because it was like, this is nasty. I mean, I just...
So we're talking pre-Y2K.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I swore off all that
artery hardening.
Yeah.
Greasy, beefy,
Yeah, all that beef and all that stuff because they put in the stuff they shoot in the cat. I don't know. It just
I can't help it though. I'm a junkie, dude. It's like some people do heroin and some people do crack cocaine. I'm like a meat beef junkie.
What you meant to say is some people smoke marijuana.
Some people smoke marijuana on 420.
Some people do fentanyl.
Some people, they chase a snake every night. And
OxyContin.
Right. Opioids and everything.
Welcome to the drug problem in America.
My opioid is
gosh.
Patty melt.
Well, but see, the thing is like I had not had like anything like a hamburger or anything for years and years and years and years.
Right.
And then they came out with first it was the garden burger.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, where was it invented?
Oregon, right? It's right
Portland, right here in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
It's actually a great little talk that I filmed once.
Really?
With a guy who started a tech company who actually talks a little bit about the garden burger thing. It's a very odd thing, but it's actually a really good, this guy just goes all over the place and it's interesting. But anyway, but he ends up walking past some big house where apparently he believes that the founders of the Garden Burger, because there's all this memorabilia of Garden Burger through the windows of this house, and he's staring in and going, "Wow," it's weird.
It's almost like when if you're in Detroit and you walk by the old Motown house.
It's almost like
you're like looking at, oh wow, that's where it all happened.
It's almost like the end of Citizen Kane.
Ooh,
Rosebud.
Right.
Wait.
There we are. Hello.
I don't know how that happened. I meant to go Rosebud. Oh, no. It's this one. Rosebud.
I like that.
Technical.
When I hear that, here, can you hit that again? When I hear that, I think of this. Would you like another patty melt? Like, yes, ma'am.
Anyway. That's what we're doing to amuse ourselves. And I already messed it up. And I had a camera flickering too. And I had a bad camera our last show.
Yeah, Garden Burger, they had normal garden burgers, but then they had this flame grilled garden burger thing. Yeah. And to me, because my dad would always get these, right?
Why?
Because he was, he's
heart.
Trying to eat.
Was it the heart?
Kind of.
That was the ticker.
Yeah, he was trying to eat healthier.
It's always, with the white men. With the white old men, it's always the ticker.
Yeah,
it's like all of a sudden when your dad, let's be honest, all of a sudden when your dad's like buying the garden burger and grilling him up, he went to the doc and the doc was like,
oh yeah,
I tell you what, next time you come in here, I might just give you a pump and a startup, just to go, maybe go down to the battery exchange and hook the things up.
It may, now that I think about it, it may be post-angioplasty, right?
Yeah, come on, man.
But yeah,
no offense. I don't mean to be offensive to your...
No, but you're right. Most guys, it's a choice that you make usually after some sort of medical scare, right?
Yeah.
Where you've got to refine your ways, boy.
Yeah, it's always the doctor, who's
well, where do we start? Right. Mr. Man, please take a seat here. I'd like to talk to you. Yeah, your arteries are totally closed on all of them. I have no idea why you're even alive right now.
We don't know why blood is going through your system right now because
I'm going to give you a prescription that is going to save your life. Here, Garden Burger, go.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, because back in the 50s and the 60s, what you do is you just drink more. You'd be like, oh, well, if I run some more alcohol through my system, it'll clean it out, right? Yeah.
That's basically what it was. When the doctor gave you bad news, you lit up another cigar, ate your raw meat, and then,
drank a little more.
And drank to oblivion where you couldn't even be sure, did I even really go to the doctor's? Guess not. I'll have another burger,
I hear alcohol thins the blood. Clearly.
It does. It's nature's blood thinner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't need warfarin. You need Jack Daniels.
Exactly. Oh. Wow. So your dad did the...
He did. He ate the vegetarian hot dogs.
Wow.
And I love those. Those are good. The seasoning in them, that fantastic.
Which ones?
If someone held up a box...
Yeah, you don't know.
Boca.
Boca, yeah.
Yeah, Boca. And they'd come in these cardboard boxes, and it'd be like almost...
They actually make hamburgers.
Yeah, but they make something that looks like almost like bratwurst.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, they're good. The seasonings were great. I would eat them all the time. And then he got this. It was made by Garden Burger, but it was like flame broiled stuff. It was supposed to taste like it was on a barbecue, right? Yeah. And I swear I could not taste. The little texture was different, but the taste wise, it was no different. Like if I walked into a Burger King and got a Whopper,
I think
it was that good. And I'm like saying to myself, this is the future.
Right.
Even back then, when I was like half out of my mind after eating a greasy patty melt, and I saw this is the future where little meat will be consumed. It's all going to be and that's fine with me as long as it tastes.
It is the future.
Yeah, as long as it tastes and it chews like a regular hamburger. I could care less whether it's just vegetable protein. Fantastic.
I have so many. I mean, and people are always like, you've asked me before. Oh, why did you go to a plant-based vegan? I mean, it's vegan. Vegan is kind of what it's called. It's really also a plant-based diet too.
Okay.
Vegan, I think, is even more of a lifestyle with products, animal products.
You need to do a pod. You need to do a show on this.
I will. But first we got to talk about Grandma's patty melts.
We do. Let's get back to the patty melts.
But anyway, yeah, seriously, you could do all this now, which and so all of a sudden now, like, I eat a burger once in a while or whatever. It is not meat. It is completely plant-based. There's a place I like called, I think they started in Oregon here, and they opened them up in New York. They've opened them up in some Whole Foods. I'm pretty sure, and I think I know one of the guys who started it up, called the Next Level Burger.
I've heard of that.
They're pretty good. They're good. Yeah. They're good, actually. I like them a lot. Okay. And they got all the diner, and they got the hot dogs. They sit up there 100%. They got the cheese on the chili cheese fries or whatever, whatever. All the junk food. All the good stuff. Yeah. Shakes, all that stuff.
Wow.
The whole everything.
The whole McGillicuddy.
100% plant based.
You see, some people are like, I will never go vegetarian. I will never do this. It has to be meat. You gotta. And to me, that's just a mental construct that we build up. To me, hey, listen, if it chews like meat, it tastes like meat, it looks like meat, whatever, I could care less. As long as to me, it's, as a fat guy, it's all about the flavor.
Yeah. Well, flavor and texture is always what's that. I mean, so the thing is like I did not, and I always said this, I did not go in to this thing, to vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, to eat fake meat. That wasn't my goal. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going. No, it was like I didn't eat a whole lot of meat to begin with. I had tapered off in my adulthood. I found it healthier. I pretty much didn't eat a lot of red meat. Yeah. To begin with. Pork, not a big fan of. I'm not a fan. I was more fish kind of a dude.
Oh, I love
and that sort of thing. Yeah. But anyway, and so then when I get into it, and I'm like, okay, the veggies and stuff, I happen to go in when there's a lot of momentum, and a lot of people are going plant-based. I think one of the biggest ones is love them or hate them. I know. One of the biggest ones was, again, an old lecherous, should we say, of our former president, Bill Clinton, who had a massive bypass surgery, and then he went plant-based. And so Clinton is a big, former president Clinton's a big dude in that, you know. Yeah. There were a lot of other people, too. And then there's other people who've just done it for, you know, forever, for ethics and all that.
Right. And one is also the technology has gotten better and you're able to make more of a
food
variety.
Technology is insane now. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. And so now, okay, so the whole thing is now they have this, and I think I had it once, and it was too much like the red. I was like, ugh. I didn't like it because I don't really like ground beef. But they have this Impossible Burger that's making all the waves, and I think the Next Level has it. Yeah, and it's like I know people are going crazy. They've tried it, and everyone's like, "Wow, it's just like a burger." Yeah, like with the grease and everything in it, like all of it, 100%. You should go try it. I'm try that Impossible Burger. I don't like it. I think one time someone had it for a test, and I tested it and was like, ooh, this is too much like real meat. I don't, you know, I'm not like, I'm just looking for, I don't know. I don't like all the greasy stuff. But see, with the patty melt, it was pure grease, right? In the diner. And then Grandma would make it with the frozen patties. Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that she used to do.
Magic granny patties.
It would be the patty, and it would be literally the white bread. Wonder white bread.
Yeah, halftime it wasn't even buns. It was white Wonder bread.
It was probably around here. We had Wonder bread, but a lot of time we got the Franz bread because that was a local. Local. That's our local mass marketed bread place. They're still out there.
Oh yeah,
and they're out there by the Antique Alley, as a matter of fact. Yeah, out in the Hollywood district, off of Sandy, out there.
Kill two birds with one stone. Go get some antiques and get yourself a loaf of bread for those patty
white
melts.
Bread.
Yeah.
And so she'd put mayonnaise.
Oh yeah.
On the white bread.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise is another thing. Okay, I stopped eating mayonnaise years and years ago. Years ago, because of the eggs and stuff, and it's not good for. That's not good for your ticker.
Don't worry about it because now that you stop mayonnaise, I'm eating enough for the both of us.
You know what? I encourage you to go out and get some vegan plant-based mayo. It is awesome.
Is it?
It's all just congealed fats anyway. Yeah. So they just fat protein. So they just replace it. Yeah. And so there's a veganese. There's this one, the Hampton, the Mayo people. Okay. It's amazing. It's amazing. I've made potato salad, the mayonnaise based potato salad for a group of people using that mayonnaise. No one can tell.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I may have to.
You gotta get some. You gotta get some. It's really good, and it would be heart healthy.
It would,
because there's no cholesterol,
and I need that right now.
No, I'm telling you, that's one. See, and there's like these little things. Like I'm always like, well, if you were concerned about your health and like you got the mayonnaise or something, welcome to the health hour.
That's right.
I'm like
health talk with Doc.
Why did we go here? But I'm like, okay, here's one thing you might try and really like, and replace it. Yeah. Replace this, use this, and you're going to probably be just incrementally a little bit better. Why not, Okay. So like that, and then the burger stuff, which are different, but then they have this Impossible Burger, and people are freaking out about it. And again, I think a lot of people who are in the lifestyle.
They're in the life, yeah.
That has a lot of connotations.
Those who are living the life.
You live in the lifestyle, Jason? Yeah.
Yeah. On 420, man. How you doing? No, come on.
I go to the plant-based club.
That's right. Jason. See, the problem with Jason is he took.
No! I went there.
He just went plant-based, and then he just took it the wrong way. Headed to the cannabis store. It's like, listen, I'm plant-based.
Oh yeah. Cannabis is not an animal-based product at all.
That's true.
Maybe a little manure to make it. You know. Yeah. Do they say manure now? Because that was another of my grandma's saying manure.
I don't know if it's manure, but
we need to go out and get some manure. Do you remember? My grandma would have to go out and get manure for her plants and her garden.
You head down to the old pan pack when they'd have them in huge bags.
Oh no!
Guy would
no. This is grandma.
We're talking wheelbarrow.
This is grandma.
Okay.
Grandma, no self-respecting grandma doesn't go down to the store. She calls up Uncle Chuck.
Uncle Chuck.
And Uncle Buck.
And Uncle Buck.
And Uncle Arnold.
Uncle Arnold. They're on the job. They're out there.
Well, they're out there in Canby on the farm
with
a few couple hundred head.
Okay.
Where does the manure come from? You got to get some manure.
Right.
Okay, you come out here. Ride the bus out.
You're riding the bus out. You get on train there. Yeah.
Suddenly, we're in South America.
And she couldn't.
And chickens.
Right. And she couldn't figure out why no one sat next to her on the bus on the way home.
Oh, no.
Like, what do you got there?
No, I think my dad had to drive out and loading up sacks of manure from the farm. Yeah. It's fresh. Great, Grandma. That's
fresh off the farm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We need it for the garden. We need it for the cycle of life.
What do they call it nowadays? Is it like just?
What's wrong with manure? Yeah, they call it compost and all that crap.
But there's a name for it that they
give.
The
name manure.
Manure, yeah.
Has a nice ring to it.
Sounds French.
Manure. wait, this is what we. The password is manure.
That's right.
Okay, Jason, this is something you put on your farm. It comes from you put it on your plants. It comes from cows. Cows make it. They put it on the plants in the garden, your vegetable garden. You have to go to the farm. What?
Manure.
Manure.
Yes, I get that Buick. Yeah.
It's Friday. You know what I think is I'm hoping that the people who are listening and watching are probably a little bit like. And they're probably laughing. These guys are funny.
Right. The sober people like, I don't know what all the hubbub's about. The people are people.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, dude, it does sound French. Dude, oh, my God.
Dude, Jason won $6,000 with the word manure. What is that?
That's right.
Did they put manure in this?
That's right. And I'm taking you all out for patty melts.
You remember when Cheech and Chong smoked the manure?
Right.
In one of their movies?
Up in smoke, man.
It was like,
I mean, Cheech and Chong, not only did they smoke the stuff, they created a whole car that was made out of dough.
Oh, man.
And they're cruising down the highway.
Was that in Up in Smoke?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And for a sequel, oh, no, they just couldn't say Cheech and Chong 2. They had to go Still Smoking.
Yeah, I love that
smoking.
One. Still Smoking.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong, comedians of the 70s who made lots of drug references. Yeah, what's up, marijuana? You know who Cheech and Chong is, I hope. Oh, yeah. I just figured there's like a whole segment like kids or whatever who are like Cheech and who?
Right.
It's like never mind.
That's a funny name. No, it's Cheech and Chong, really. You should Up and Smoke.
Okay. Yeah. So she take the patty.
Yes.
And the Fran's white bread.
Of course.
And slather on the mayonnaise.
Of course. Best Foods or whatever.
Yeah.
They're just slathering it on.
And then put the grease patty that came off the cast iron skillet onto in between the two white bread with the mayonnaise, and then put it on your plate.
Yeah, there could be bacon. There could not be bacon. It's piping hot, and it's so greasy, literally, that the patty melts through the bottom layer of the bread, and it makes the bread stick to the plate. So you get to kind of like spatula it up, and you get this greasy mob right in your hand.
It was actually, you'd have to be careful, because it was like. You know how peanut butter, when you're a kid and you get the peanut butter stuck in the top of
the roof of your mouth.
Well, the gluey concoction that was the white bread and the mayo and the grease and everything would all get stuck up in the roof of your mouth.
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah. It was until 15 years old. People thought I had a lisp, but it wasn't a lisp. It was just all the congealed bread to the top of the roof of my mouth. And it's like, oh, hey, I can talk again. Sweet. Can I have another patty melt? And it starts all over.
Well, you screwed up as a kid, right? Because you'd be so hungry. And, oh, and then I don't know if somehow she maybe did she
diagonal. She'd make
diagonal.
It
was always
straight
diagonal.
across. It was always diagonal, so it looked kind of cool. So you take up your one half, scrape it off.
You know, as a kid, being, partially mentally challenged. No, it took me years to get that diagonal thing. It was like the opening of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
with the primate ape men people. And the monolith, and they're like, oh, look, kill, eat, look at us. The monolith is like, ooh. That was like me with trying to figure out how to slice bread. So I'd make my own sandwich. You slice it in half, and it's like, this isn't right. This isn't like how Grandma does it. No, it's a different angle, right? Finally, 1 second, it would be like, right. With the knife, and you'd be like, doom, 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 doom. Diagonal.
Yeah, you're actually witnessing human evolution, right? When you go, and you move the plate a little bit over.
Exactly.
And it's diagonal now.
Exactly.
Fire good. And
the monolith is in the background in your kitchen, and you're just like turning the plate, the knife, the plate, the brain. You're like 6 years old, 5 years old. You're like, butter knife, with the peanut butter.
And it's like a major awakening in your soul, right? So much so that Grandma's over there, she's looking at you, and she's she's like, it looks like a saint, and she's looking, now if we can only get him to eat use a fork.
Exactly.
He'll be perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he does. And you hold up for the world. You don't want to eat it yet because you're too proud of the accomplishment. Just like Grandma.
Diagonal. I don't know how she did it, though, because that thing was so greasy. Yeah. It was kind of like the China syndrome of burgers. You know what the China syndrome is. That's when a nuclear reactor, like what happened over Fukushima, for example, and Chernobyl, for example, and other lovely locations, where the reactor goes into critical and doesn't get cooled off. And what happens with the reactor core? If they don't shut it down, it gets so hot it just melts through the floor, melts through the ground.
Yeah.
And it's called the China syndrome, and the idea that it melts through the earth into China. Why? I don't know. Kind of silly idea. Yeah. Maybe that was just for the movie, because there was a movie called The China Syndrome.
Could be.
It could just be BS.
It's all BS.
Well, it is. But the thing is, that thing would melt down, and then, like I said, you bite into it, and it was about. Here's the problem: the first time you did it, it was as hot as a nuclear reactor core. So as it's sticking up in your roof of your mouth, you're like, "It's hot," right?
Yeah, because it's so greasy. You take your bite, hot grease explodes in your mouth.
And stuck to the roof.
It shoves that bread up to the roof of your mouth. It's sticking there, and it's hot, so you're trying to chew at the same time.
Like a monkey.
What's hot? And
what do you have? It's like big glass of cold milk.
You got
cool it off, right? Yeah. Cool the reactor off.
Because, Granny's magic patties, I mean, she's got it all figured out for you. So she's already got the glass of milk next to you. Because you ain't going to think of that on your own. Me on my own, I'm like, ooh, and there's nothing there. But Granny, in her forethought and wisdom, has sat down in that glass of milk.
Oh, man. And then I would, as a kid, and then because that thing would just turn into a mass,
gelatinous.
Being the kid that you are, you would encourage that. So you end up with a ball of white bread mayo with meat with a meat core.
With a meat core, and you're like,
"Look, Grandmama, I made a meatball."
Right, meatball. Look, it's a clown. Like you eat your patty melt, kid.
Oh,
look.
Some dude right now
is bleeding mayonnaise.
Oh, man, I'm so hungry for a patty melt right now, dude. Oh, that sounds so good.
Or they're going to get maudlin. Like, I miss Grandma.
Oh, I do too.
We all miss Grandma. But we're making people hungry now, right?
I know,
now
right?
They're out there like,
But the crazy thing is,
hey, do we got any patty melts in the house? You know, it's gonna be like that.
so about a year ago,
Okay.
I don't really eat white bread. I do eat bread. I'm not one of those anti-wheat people. I mean, which is lucky plant-based. And although there's a lot of
are you pro? Where do you come down on the gluten issue? Are you pro gluten?
I'll eat all your gluten.
Excellent. See, I figured gluten is taking a bash. I am decidedly pro gluten.
So that's good because one of the fundamental problems, and it's not all. One of the fundamental problems is the way that the vegetarians have made the fake meat in many cases for the consistency. Yeah. Guess what they use? Gluten.
Okay.
And lots of it.
Okay, gotcha.
And because it's a sticky, sinewy substance when you wet it, that's what it's used in the bread. But if you get pure gluten, which you can at Bob's Red Mill, you actually can get it and make like fake sausage and all that stuff. Yeah. So if you're gluten free or you got a problem with that, that's a problem. Right. So a lot of those kind of fake vegetarian meats and stuff, you need to make sure. There are some that don't. Yeah. So there are gluten free products, but a lot of them. A lot of the tofurkeys and all that stuff, they have the wheat gluten in it. So
right, so it's kind of a gluten paradox, right? You want to go gluten free, the gluten paradox, because you want to go gluten free because you want to eat healthier, but a lot of the stuff is built off of the gluten stuff.
Okay, so the thing is that there is a disease, and I know about it because one friend that I know actually had it, and that is the celiac disease. Yes. And that is a genetic, I won't say disorder, but it's a genetic change where you don't have as I understand it, you don't have the genes to make the enzyme to digest the gluten. Right. Okay? Yeah. And there's other genetic things with other things that people are born with the inability to make a certain enzyme to digest a certain thing.
There was a lady who did our show for a while, a few years ago, Vanna. Yeah. She had that. Yeah, and it's gluten because you'll get almost deathly ill. Really ill. Right. Yeah.
And it's a simple test. They take your blood. Yep. They run the protein profile, and they can tell you if you've got it. It's rare. Yeah. It's not massive.
No, but
it's rare. Yeah. But they can test it, and you do get really ill, and you can't even contaminate stuff with wheat. It's really bad. Yeah. And I learned this all from my friend because they're like, oh, I did not know. Okay. Yeah. Then there are people who are a lot of gluten intolerance. A lot of wheat/gluten intolerance. And I believe this. I've talked to a lot of people who are like, I just feel better when I don't eat the bread or the wheat or all that stuff. Okay. And then there's what I call fad diet stuff, which tells you should never eat anything with wheat. You shouldn't eat this and this and this. And I personally, and I've looked at the research, I think it's a bunch of crap, actually. I think grains are good for you. I think we genetically developed our system to eat grains. Yeah. We're basically like bears.
We are.
Whatever exists out there, we'll eat. I mean,
we are earth sign in in behavior.
One of the big findings, archaeological findings that has happened like in the recent few years, because we're finding all kinds of cool stuff. The Neanderthals. How do we imagine the Neanderthals in their diet, right?
Patty melts.
Cavemen, right? Yeah. They're always like knocking over something and eating the meat and all.
Yeah, and they're just shoving some sort of meat substance over an open fire and cooking it until it's done. And then.
Well, you know what? If you really think about it logically and then look at new archaeological evidence, how often do you think that the hunt just is like out there all the time? Say it's wintertime. Say it's an ice age.
I would think that it's more of a plant-based diet than meat would be a luxury.
Yeah. I mean, you got it when you got it. I mean, before we created civilization and culture, we were all about the hunt and getting food because you were starving every day. That was your job, not to starve. Yep. And so it turns out that like the Neanderthals, oftentimes had a huge plant-based diet. Like they looked at their teeth, the molars, and and the grains and all that, because it was like that's what was available. It's like, hey, maybe there's not meat, but look, there's berries and roots and all sorts of other things.
Right. I mean, if you're living off the fat of the land, chances are that fat is usually attached to a vine or something you dig in the ground or whatever. Right. Meat would be a luxury.
Yeah. So I mean, so this whole thing about paleo and all this nonsense about I mean, I don't know. The problem is with I think part of the legitimate part is refinement, refining the wheat, refining that stuff. That I'm all because the less refined food that you have, it's healthier for you.
Yeah, the less it's processed. Right.
I mean, if you go out to some place like I don't know, like good old Bob's Red Mill or whatever, and get some nice, like healthy stone ground flour or whatever, it's going to be way healthier. And as someone who does eat bread and all that stuff, have you ever read the ingredients in the store bought bread? I won't buy it.
I can't understand a word of it. It's like a foreign language to me.
It's here's the thing.
Monoglutamate is like.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Okay.
I think the problem that a lot of people have with bread and all that is look at all the ingredients in the bread that aren't bread. It's dough conditioners and mold inhibitors and shelf life, because that's what they're making the bread for in the store.
90% preservative, 10% organic.
I mean, I got a bread machine. I make bread sometimes.
Yeah.
Making your own bread is the best way. You can count the ingredients on one hand to make bread.
Yep, yeast.
And it's yeast,
flour,
flour, a little oil, water, little sugar,
and maybe a little
for
gluten.
The yeast.
Maybe a little gluten. You put
it doesn't mean you don't have to.
No.
But I mean, you literally, like a good fresh bread doesn't have a whole bunch of crap.
No.
And there was this weird thing too, where doctors were recommending, because I had this thing going on with a family member and all that, and the doctor said, if you eat bread that's not from the United States but comes from Europe or somewhere, which actually you can get like German bread.
Sure. That's
actually flash frozen and imported and then baked.
Yeah.
And they're like, that'll be okay. And it turns out people don't get sick on it. Well, what are they putting in their bread? Not all the... Because, the Europeans, man, like even in Germany and Italy and France, I mean, they pride themselves in that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're like, don't you be putting anything in my bread.
Especially, and it's also the French accent, too.
Yeah.
You will not put in any of that crap.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's part of the big problem.
I think so too.
I mean, I think people do have wheat intolerances and all that stuff, but I think a lot of it is honest to God, when you go to a supermarket and you see all that bread aisle, half that stuff, I'm sorry, should be thrown in the dumpster bin.
Yeah.
You shouldn't buy it. It's so processed. And I'm very much like, if I get crackers or bread or something, I'm always looking at the ingredients going, no. I mean, I try to actually either make it or get some really baked, the good stuff.
And I think at a more
you pay through the nose to get... Why is it in America that you pay more money to get bread with less ingredients than...
Go figure.
Than to pay...
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because in America we like to dump our chemicals. It's like, what are we going to do with all these industrial waste? I don't know. Hey, this is a dough conditioner. Let's put it in bread.
Make bread.
That'll work. EPA.
Is it
Scott Pruitt's like, yes.
My stocks went up. Yeah, Wonder turns into just Wonder Bread. It turns into, geez, I wonder how I'm still alive. Bread.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm not saying
we're not saying anything about Wonder Bread.
No.
Thanks for the shout out, Jason. It's
right.
Hi, Wonder Bread.
Oops, another sponsor gone. Oops.
No, well they always say, well, these have been all deemed as all these ingredients are deemed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can eat these and be healthy. But I mean, I've actually would look up ingredients, especially in bread, because I'd go, hey, I just want some bread. Okay, well, I'm close to this store, so I'll get some bread. Okay, I just want some good bread, and I'll go through and I'll read this like, what is all this crap? What is all this crap? I just want some bread.
Yeah.
Wheat, oil, and I'll look up some of these ingredients. So I actually have like the encyclopedia knowledge.
Yeah.
There's this wonderful, wonderful element. It's a dough conditioner.
Okay.
And it's put in bread and other wonderful things. It's called, I don't know how to pronounce, L-cysteine, I think is how it's pronounced.
That sounds sinister.
Well, it's made from hair and fur.
Oh, jeez.
And
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. And so actually L-CYSTEINE.
Wow.
And
yeah, that sounds sinister.
It's and the reason I know about it is because they put it in bread.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if it comes from hair and fur and other things, it's not plant-based. It's not vegan.
Right.
Because the first thing you think about when you think about bread is like, 90% of that stuff's got to be, plant-based, just vegan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, sometimes depending on the bread, people do put eggs, like in pastries, the eggs and stuff. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, there you go.
Sure.
But usually, cysteine, industrial sources, dietary sources.
Yeah.
Although classified as it's a non-essential amino acid. Why is it in my bread?
Non-essential. Yeah.
Although classified as a non-essential amino acid, in rare cases, cysteine may be essential for infants, the elderly, and individuals on certain metabolic disease who suffer from malabsorption syndromes. Okay, fine. It can be synthesized by the human body under normal condition. Animal sources, meat, including pork and poultry, eggs and dairy. Plant sources, red pepper. So there is plant sources of it, but in most cases, industrial sources. The majority of L-cysteine, this is the stuff they put in bread. It's actually often listed in bread.
You know what that sounds like? Just the name. It sounds like the island where Dr. Evil hangs out.
Okay,
at.
let me
just L-cysteine.
This is why I was like, I read about this in my bread. And literally it was like I went to the supermarket and they had like a French baguette that looked like, hey, we baked it here. It's nice, it's normal. I was like, okay, cool. That's usually your best bet, right?
Yeah.
Because that'll have less ingredients. Flip it over. I'm reading, okay, wheat, gluten, this and that. No eggs or whatever. L-cysteine.
Oh.
What is this, right? It's a dough condition. Industrial sources, Jason, the majority of L-cysteine, I think it's cysteine or cysteine, E-I-N-E.
It's usually an E sound.
Yeah, cysteine, L-cysteine. Well, in German it would be the opposite.
Right.
The majority of L-cysteine is obtained industrially by hydrolysis of animal materials, such as poultry feathers or hog hair. Despite widespread belief otherwise, there is little evidence that human hair is used as a source material, and its use is explicitly banned in the European Union. In the European Union.
Yeah.
Don't use human hair for your L-cysteine in the European Union.
Right.
Are we living in the European Union, Jason?
No. So, the guys who make the L-cysteine or L-cysteine, they're like, we're losing our shorts here. We need to find new markets. Let's go to America. They'll need anything.
Dude, just listen to this. I this will gross you out. And I want to gross people out because I actually want to get this out of bread.
Okay.
Period. I want to get this out of my
So this is like a campaign then, a campaign to get rid of it.
I know. Yeah, watch me get letters. Despite what? Okay, so not for use from the human hair in the European Union.
Sure.
But if you're in the U.S., here comes the food engineers going to your salon, going, "Hey, you need that hair there?"
Yeah. Guys in coveralls nationwide at any supercuts, just kind of putting the.
This is the same reason Jell-O grosses me out. And gelatin grosses me out, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so synthetically produced L-cysteine is compliant with Jewish, kosher, and Muslim halal laws because, remember, and people are like, oh, this vegetarian thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are just so hipster and modern and everything. Have you ever heard of kosher laws that are, I don't know, millennial, halal, It's
right.
like, no, there's lots of food laws that ban this stuff that are centuries and centuries and centuries.
Yeah.
Long, right?
Hebrew kosher laws are...
And halal.
Well,
and
I don't know.
Muslim halal, too.
Old Testament.
Yeah. So they can produce it synthetically to make it kosher or halal, which why would you anyway in the first place? And it's also available, albeit by a higher price. So I'm sure that American food producers are getting the synthesized higher price one, right?
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. So this is the last part here.
Mm-hmm.
Science Friday.
Science blinded me with science.
Welcome to Science Friday. I'm Doc Normal.
And I'm his lab assistant, Igor.
Okay, to synthesize the synthetic, kosher, halal, compliant route is the fermentation using a mutant of E. coli.
Oh.
Okay.
It's
look at Jason.
Yes.
Look it up sometime.
Okay.
In your bread, like when you're going through the bread.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Oh, I will tonight. I will go through it.
Yeah, I can even tell you what. But honestly, I came across this in like some fresh baked French bread in the store, like the stuff you're like, oh, this should be the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then there's always a thing like, well, what are they not telling me that's in there? Because sometimes, depending on the ingredients, I think a percentage of ingredients, they can kind of let it slide.
Yeah.
Like,
they'll use generic
we don't
names.
List rat poop in here. It's a low percentage.
Yeah, they put it under classifications and they give new words to it to make it so vague that you have no idea what it is.
It's usually called natural flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what's the other one? Or enzymes.
Right.
It's like, well, what are those enzymes and where they came from? But anyway, I did not mean. There was no way that I meant to get off on this tangent, but
no, but I mean, it's interesting.
But isn't that gross, though?
It is gross.
Like that's a substance, and there's other things. I mean, that to me is just like my. But there's other substances you could read about.
Yeah. In fact, folks, if you come on back Monday, we're going to spend the next 2 hours talking about what goes into the American hot dog.
I know. Well, I was just going to say, was it Upton Sinclair?
Oh yeah,
The Jungle.
Yes.
Which is
talking about the Chicago meat packing back in the yards in the slaughterhouses. Yeah,
The Jungle. Yeah. The Jungle. It was a book. My understanding was because I was having an interesting American lit discussion with the student.
Excellent.
Which was very good, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta love that. Mm-hmm. American lit discussion.
Sure.
You should read some. Mm-hmm. But Upton Sinclair, it was mentioned, I think, that The Jungle was originally an expose of working conditions of packing workers, meat packing, but it also turned out to be inadvertently an expose of the nastiness of the meat industry.
The practices of the meat packers and of the meat companies themselves. Yeah, Upton Sinclair's book is like the early 20th century version of Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow, I have not.
I don't know if you've ever read that book.
I have not. No.
You know, Anthony Bourdain went on to become like the celebrity chef guy and stuff. But he first broke on the scene. He's just like a working journeyman chef in a restaurant in New York. And his book was basically about, this is a lot of the crap that goes on behind the scenes that you never see. Yeah. And it was a huge mega bestseller, right? And he's gone on to have a nice career over it, but that it is a lot. I mean, he gets the down and dirty underbelly of what goes on in the typical American, even fine dining.
No, I know. And it's always been said, like, if people like went back behind the kitchen and saw, even in nice restaurants. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, and I know here's our little being nice to the industry.
Excellent. We're going to throw them a bone.
So they don't send us letters.
Right.
The one thing is, like, these like fast food chains often have very regiment clean places because they're serving so much food.
Yeah, there are protocols.
They have so much liability.
Right, yeah. There are protocols upon protocols upon protocols to make sure everything runs like a tight ship,
Yeah, because you get into a situation where you have an outbreak and then you're in trouble. Which... Wow. Speaking of food poisoning...
Yes?
I've been promising to talk about... Well, there's several things to talk about. We had Zuckerberg, and I'm not going to talk about Zuckerberg.
Yeah, the Zuck.
I mean, it's and gone.
We'll save the Zuck for another day.
Well, I mean, people are all... I mean, and it's not good, but, his defense is you shared the information. Well, bingo, that's number one. And number two, what about all those credit bureaus and the government itself and all those security breaches where, Social Security, all that stuff. But, I mean, you see those people sitting in front of Congress every day? No. Mm-mm. So, I mean, on the one hand, I like what's happening with the Facebook and the privacy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, are they the only bad actor out there? No, there's even worse. So anyway, and Congress picks and chooses its battles, whatever ones they think are easiest to win. But speaking of food, I mean, we might as well just segue into this.
Food Friday. Yes.
Well, I finished watching a documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
One that I think a lot of people have been watching this. Mm-hmm. Called Wild Wild Country.
Yes, I have not watched it yet, but I checked out the trailer and I've looked at some.
Shoot, I wish you would have watched that.
It's about Rajneesh's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I have
I mean,
opinions.
That's all right. We lived through it.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. That's why it's worth talking about.
Yeah.
First off, I have to say, the filmmakers. It's a gorgeous documentary. It's a really well made documentary. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So hats off to the filmmakers who made the documentary. Technically, they intersperse, today interview, current footage with tons of footage from back in the 80s.
Nice.
And they do a really good job of it. And they have tons of footage. Like, they have footage I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, behind-the-scenes stuff, tons of footage.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of news, interviews. I think they obtained tapes from, like, all the, KGW, KOIN, and all of them, the Oregonian and whatnot,
Yeah.
But they have it's really amazing to see. And they'll here they're talking to the person in the present day, and then they'll go back and there they are talking to like a documentary person or a news person in an interview, like right there in the 1980s.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So they did a very, very, very good job of documentary filmmaking.
Nice.
So I was very impressed with that.
Yeah.
I would say it's one of the best. Just with that use of footage and going through the things. Now, here's my problem.
Okay.
So on social media, I mean, everybody's been watching it, and a lot of millennials, a lot of people not, it's on Netflix, so a lot of people across the country have been watching it. A lot of people in Portland have watched it who did not grow up here, and whatnot.
Right.
And I noticed on social media, even among people on my social media who had comments to make, about the Rajneesh, and as a result of this documentary. In a nutshell, I found it rather slanted. I have this kind of, I mean, I'm like kind of in the middle ground with this because, again, I thought it was a well-made documentary, and I thought what they presented was very good. Yeah. It was worth the watch. Okay. I felt that it skewed a little bit to sympathize with the Rajneeshis. Really? Okay. And more so to sympathize with Bhagwan and Sheila. Ma Prem Sheila? Yeah. Yeah. And other actors at the head of the Rajneesh movement. And seemed to skew some of the authorities and the people of Antelope and that negatively.
Kind of was it done with the stereotypical rural intolerance and
yes. And the thing is again, what was presented was very good, and they did, in all honesty, they did, but there were, because it's like, what, 6 episodes, something like that? I think so. It's like about a 6 episoder, and they're all like a good hour or more. I mean, it's an extensive documentary. Right. And I encourage everyone to watch it. So
I will be watching it later tonight.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, I felt that as the thing unfolded and was presenting things, I felt that some of the things that happened were kind of played down. And so here's the thing. What was there bigotry against the Rajneeshis? Sure. Yeah. And they have this one lady who was like the mayor of Antelope and all that, and she's a fine Christian woman. I mean, she's right there on. I mean, there's footage of her in the 80s. Given, a
little on the fundamental side.
Yeah. There's this one guy, this farmer guy, and I know a lot of people loved him. And he just he's really good. I mean, he just has a smile on his face. He's wearing overalls, and he's talking about all this stuff. At one point, he goes, "Man, at night you could just hear him carrying on out there in the town." I mean, it's just like he was really good. He was really good, and But the bottom line here is this. First of all, I don't like cults. I never have, never will. In fact, I don't like a lot of religions that are cult-like. I don't like people blindly following anything. I like people who question everything. That's just my bet. And growing up in this area, we had a lot of cultish activity.
We did.
In fact,
very true.
In fact, I experienced it firsthand in a couple cases.
Really?
Oh yeah. I didn't join a cult.
Was it cultish or communish? Because I noticed a lot of Oregon. There's a lot of communes.
Cultish.
Okay, because there's like a real fine line. And where it meets, right?
Excellent, Jason. Yeah. Excellent point.
Thank you.
No. Well, take a bow. There you go. Excellent point. Because I think that's what this wild, wild country tries to present, is that it's like they're a little bit on the bent of, they were just coming in and being a commune, right? And that was their position at the time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But they weren't.
No.
They were not.
No.
I mean, even India did not like them.
No, yeah, he got pretty much ran out of the subcontinent real quick. To me, what sullies the purity of their claim of it being a commune, right?
Yeah,
is Mercedes. The guy has like 500
Rolls Royces.
Yeah, Rolls Royces, right? The guy has like 500 of them or whatever.
Yeah,
that's not exactly commune-like behavior. It's more.
Yeah. So one of the things,
personality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and so that's my problem. I don't like cults. Yeah. I don't like religions that have that cultish perspective. I don't like it when people follow the Kardashians or Kanye or whatever as a cult of personality, or politicians.
That bothers me too.
Yeah.
It
you
does,
know, I come from out here, from out west, where everyone poops the same.
That's right.
You know what? And I come
it's
from
all patty melts.
And you know, the Protestant religion that I was indoctrinated in and grew up in.
Yes.
You know, a lot of it, there was a focus of, you know, whether you're an atheist or I don't know, whatever. That's not a discussion of whether you believe or not. But one of the big teachings was like, you know, this is God's realm and this is the human realm. Don't mix the two up.
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Well, it was very, I don't want to say anti, how would I say it? Being Protestant, Lutheran, and then there was also some Pentecostal. There's lots of religion. We've said before. I've had lots of religion. But there, you know, being like in the Lutheran Protestant tradition, what is it? It is anti what? Well, not anti. I don't want to say anti-Catholic today, but anti what the Catholics believe.
It's all
you got a pope. You got some cardinal.
A bunch of popery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's very Protestant of no. There's the higher power, and then there's just us men struggling out here, and no man is higher than God, say. Right. And of course, when you have gurus and people, like you have out of the Eastern religion, because we had the Buddha, or the Buddhas, you know,
Confucius,
and that. Yeah, you know, and on the West we had the philosophers, Socrates,
Aristotle.
Yeah. Anyway. So I always have a problem with that, and I always see that too with you know, that more so even into like in America, in the cult of personality, in Hollywood, and stars and all that. And I don't know. I mean, when you're around, if you have the opportunity to ever be around famous people or semi-famous people, I mean, you can admire them for what they do and what they are as an artist, but I mean, you know, half the time those people don't want they don't want, some do, but they don't want people fawning all over them or whatever. They're like, you know, I got that. You know, I can go out on a stage and get that.
Thanks for the props, but all I do is a soap opera, man.
Yeah,
I know.
But anyway, but they do get into Bhagwan's his or Osho, his beliefs. Yes. And that's very interesting, because there was stuff, I did learn things in this documentary, because I did not know all of the machinations of
kind of got lost in the shuffle, didn't it? You're so busy looking at this bright light bulb that is the image and or whatever of the Rajneesh. A lot of people never ask the fundamental question. So what is it that they believe? What's the doctrine or whatever behind the underlying philosophy of?
Exactly. And Wild Country is very good about kind of eventually going into that,
breaking down and breaking
who he was, what his beliefs were. And you're talking about the Rolls Royces. You know, again, that's the light bulb. It's like, what's this guy? They're just getting him Rolls Royces all over the place, right? Makes no sense, right? You know, what guru, you know,
or the wearing of just the red.
You know, well, so the answer there that Wild Country gets into is that he had his philosophy was materialism and spiritualism, as opposed to most gurus who we focus on the spiritual side, the material side is just the material side, we're looking for a higher plane in the spiritual side, which has nothing to do basically with the material world, right? Osho Bhagwan merged the two, and hence this is why, for example, they gave him Rolls Royces. He embraced the riches of it. That's what we're told in Wild.
Right.
They that's my simple explanation. If you watch the documentary Wild Country, they will go into detail about the books he wrote and those things.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
And they do go into the psychology of the cult. And that's where that's the jumping off point, the using the psychology. And here the thing about cults is they break you down and and they do get into this in Wild Wild Country as well. They break you down in your individual personality to the point that you do not exist individually without your brethren.
Right.
Okay? And look, the United States Marines have been doing this for hundreds of years. Right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, or any monastic orders.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's boot camp, Marine boot camp. That's what they did. That's what, you're like, which, by the way, R.I.P. R. Emery, who just passed away this week.
Arlie Ermy.
Arlie Ermy, who played the Marine boot camp sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, the famous Marine, and he was a Marine.
Yeah, he was actually a gunnery sergeant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and they showed how the Rajneeshis did that. So it does have all that information, but they do. Sheila is extensively interviewed in this, and
she was the spokesperson, right? She was the PR
was running
lady.
the joint.
Yeah.
And so the problem I have with all of this is they first wanted to do a commune, but then they wanted to build their city, their
Rajneeshpuram.
Yeah, they wanted to build a city. Their, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Their
huge compound.
Valhalla, or whatever. I don't know. What would you call it?
Yeah, I would label it a city. Its own bio civilization.
Yeah. And so the Oregonians around there were pissed off, and certainly there were bigotry, the ranchers and all that stuff. Oh, sure. Okay. But then other people got involved, like the Thousand Friends of Oregon, and they really play down the Thousand Friends of Oregon with the land use laws. But if you don't understand Oregon, that's really important to Oregonians. And if you moved here and you think those guys are jerks, move out.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That is like and no, it's not racism. It is actually to preserve the land of what Oregon is. I mean, and that is one of the first people who they did politically use them, but they said, we're not zoning a city here, folks. You can have a commune.
Yeah.
You can have your commune, but building out a city. Anyway, and then, there was this bombing downtown, and they claim that that's what militarized the Rajneesh, is that they had a hotel and a restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say, see, they don't get the problem with the Wild Wild Country. They don't investigate much in the bombing, because there was some issues there with some guy from California or whatever.
Yeah.
And Sheila used this as bigots. We have to arm ourselves and be militaristic.
Right.
And I think there was the devil's in the details on that.
Right, yeah. I remember at the time, and I'm just giving you general impression of retro events. I just remember as it was basically coming to an end, that at least the public profile was like, especially the Sheila lady, was kind of just shady.
Oh, it was horrible.
That there was stuff going on behind the scenes, including the guns and the militarization, and of course they would always claim like, oh, there's like brainwashing going on. There's mass, I remember that.
November 1985 in the L.A. Times, L.A. resident gets 20 years for 83 bombing of Hotel Rajneesh. 36-year-old Los Angeles man was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the Hotel Rajneesh bombing. Stephen P. Pastor. A motive was not presented to jurors. Olson did not formally exclude evidence of Pastor's religious beliefs from the trial. So the simple answer was they used that. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like fire at the Reichstag, Right. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
And Sheila was that kind of person.
Yeah.
Really. And so they kind of whitewashed that, and I think there's more to that. And then they militarized in their city There's one guy, an inspector, who says, yeah, they kind of kept me out of inspecting. He was the building inspector for Wascoe County.
Yeah.
And he did not inspect some of the buildings. He was kind of like led away to inspect the buildings. Guess what buildings those were?
Probably the
chemical.
No.
Yep.
They were trying to develop...
chemical build. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
And the way we know this is years later when the feds finally raided Rajneeshpuram and all that stuff. Guess what they found in those buildings? Petri dishes of all the E. coli and salmonella and all the stuff that they were growing in the poisoning. And here's the thing. I've recently talked to people who grew up like in the Dalles and out that way, who were kids who got sick. I mean, the Rajneesh poisoned people in the Dalles, people all over there. They poisoned them. There's direct evidence of that. And then they're carrying out the weapons and stuff. These are not nice people. This is cultish behavior, and it needs to go. Yeah. Goodbye. Go. So my personal experience, there's other experience, but my interesting personal experience, little minor aside about Rajneesh, is I was going to school at the time. It was downtown, you know. And so they had the hotel, and they had a nightclub, actually, down there. They had a Rajneesh nightclub. This is the early 80s.
Well, I wonder what that was like. I wonder a disco night down at the Rajneesh nightclub was.
Well, I never went. And the reason I never went, I was invited. Oh yeah, no, I was invited. It was all, they had a nightclub there. Yeah. I mean, at the outset, they seem pretty welcoming people. I mean, they're like, okay, yeah, we have a nightclub, we have a restaurant, we have a...
Doesn't it always start like that? Yeah. You know, oh, come, you're welcome. Come and join us.
Just take a quick personality test.
Right.
That was the other thing that was going on downtown all the time. You want a personality test? No, my personality is significantly screwed up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love Tom Cruise. Anyway, so yes, they had a nightclub in the early 80s. Yeah. Which I assume it was associated with the hotel building. I can't remember. Yeah. But suffice to say, they had a club down there. I think they I don't know if they got into the nightclub as much. They might have mentioned it in the Wild Wild Country. And so yeah, it was dancing, DJ, lots of people in pink, but you could go there. Wow. And I played in bands. I played in a few bands at that time, right? That was my
Tokyo.
No, it wasn't.
Was this pre or post?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I played in several bands, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, then obviously, like musicians, and they're like cats and dogs. They don't get along, and you know. So you played in like 10 bands. It's like, well, that band broke up. Well, that guy left and joined this other band now, and you know how that goes, right?
Well, they're called projects nowadays. That way you can.
Okay.
That way you always get your one foot out the door in case, you know.
Well, I was playing with this one band from a guy I actually kind of knew as a kid, and he was a bass player.
Okay.
And I think we were going to school together too. Okay. And he was a bass player. He was my hippie dude, the typical Northwest hippie dude with the beard and the long hair. Yeah. Beautiful guy, really. Yeah. I'm not talking...
Salty of the earth.
Yeah. You know, the nice... Probably a guy who... Yeah, you know, hey...
Laid back, easygoing, welcoming, sort of...
And I liked him because we would get together and he would get, like... ska and reggae, because that was the big thing, right? The ska and the reggae and the Police and the Specials and all that stuff that was coming out of England. And then it was like, oh, have you heard this Peter Tosh? Have you heard this Bob Marley, right? Oh, yeah. That was like really happening in the U.S. And for the drums and the rhythm section, that was a whole new world, right? Yeah. So it was like, whoa, man. Yeah. I'm just from Portland, Oregon here. What is all this stuff? So obviously I wanted to know. I wanted to learn. And this guy, as a bass player, was into it. So we'd get together and we'd listen to the stuff and figure out the beats and stuff. And so then we ended up playing in a band together.
Excellent.
And we were always like, man, let's just do more reggae and stuff because that stuff is so hip. Let's learn those beats and stuff. And he was the bass player. I was the drummer. Okay. Right. Lots of fun. So one day we're talking about the Rajneesh, and I'm like, you know, and I'm being a bigot. I'm like, oh man, those. And here was the source of my bigotry. Okay. before the Rajneeshis, there was the Hare Krishna.
Yes. So, the Moonies.
And the Moonies, well, there's the Hare Krishna were of Indian origin.
Krishna.
And you basically, because of the law, because you could have access, they were the people at the airports.
Yes.
And you go to the airport, and here they come, and they give you a flower or whatever. They were very peaceful. It's fine, it's not, it wasn't a thing. Famous scene in the movie Airplane. Robert Stack walks, the comedy movie Airplane. Robert Stack walks into the airport, and the Hare Krishna keep coming up and offering him flowers and stuff, and Robert Stack's this big tough guy, and he ends up starting punching out. I know it's a horribly bigoted scene. It would not play well today.
Would you like a pamphlet? Today is Gentleman's Day today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so so they were different, these people. But at the same time, if they weren't hurting anybody,
no,
we were liberal enough to go, hey, that's fine.
Live and let live.
Hey, don't get in my face with that stuff, but okay. I mean, it's the same thing as Bible thumpers. Yeah. The Jehovah's Witnesses, all the Baptists and stuff that would come to our door, ring the doorbell, and here's a couple guys in suits with the Bible. Have you heard that? That's get out of here, dude. Yeah. Go, you and the Hare Krishna, you go down and do your thing. But the Rajneeshis, I don't, and the, the personality test people.
Scientology.
Nah. They're a litigious bunch, too. Yeah. But anyway, y'all go get in your area there. Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, but I don't think that the Rajneeshis really did that sort of gig. But they had the nightclub and the restaurant and the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So my buddy, and I'm trying to remember his, I remember his last name. I can't remember his first name. Hippie dude with the reggae.
Let's call him Let's call him Bob, because like Bob Marley. Bob Marley.
No? He had a cooler name than that. Oh. Jeff or something. I don't know.
Let's call him Jeff then.
Jeff is good.
Jeff.
So
with a G.
So Jeff.
Yeah.
He goes, and I'm like, and the subject of the Rajneesh came up. I think we were out and about, and there were a few of them because they'd be around town, sure. in their red dyed outfits. I'm like, oh man, Yeah. And it's just because I don't dig all that. Like I said, if it was a Bible, I mean, there'd be people down in the park blocks preaching the word of God. Oh my gosh, and usually those people are all like, LGBT, this and that, and you're going to hell and all that stuff and the end times. Yeah, and man, people would like, get out of here.
Whenever they'd come to my door, they would say, it's always like, I would like to share with you my testimony. And when I hear the word testimony, I always shoot back with, is this going to be under oath?
Yeah.
What's going on? And they usually get disheartened and walk away after that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or I went through the phase when they come to the door and say, hey, we'd like to talk to you. And I'd say, I'm a druid. I worship bushes.
Yeah.
And I would turn them off, too.
Well, at some point by the time of the rock and roll years, it would be like, dude, can we get some pentagram jewelry and stuff? When we see these guys show up at the thing, can I like put the black on and the pentagram and stuff? Hey, have you heard the new AC/DC album?
Right. Yeah, the whole Blue Oyster Cult T-shirt really threw them for a loop. They knew.
What do you think of Jimmy Page and Aleister Crowley? Yeah, you just wanted to mess with Ozzy Osbourne. You just want to mess with these people.
Hey, thanks for showing up, man. You guys came at a great time. We're about ready to go in the back and do some backmasking. Why don't you come on back and...
Exactly.
No, you can come back later.
Hit me, great Satan.
Right.
Let me, great Satan.
Snap, snap. Johnny's the devil. Johnny is the devil. Snip, snip.
I think that's what we'll do next.
Curmudgeon backmasking?
Well, no. And door to door. Like we could wear the pentagrams and stuff. Hey, we're Satanists. Have you heard the good word of Satan? Actually, just listen to any of these Ozzy Osbourne albums, Jimmy Page. If you play these backwards,
sure,
it says here, be great Satan.
We'll just walk around, with like we'll put like little horns on our heads.
People were so freaked out by that too.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Me being the Protestant anti-pope and all that stuff, listening to reggae and the Rastafarians who wanted to assassinate the Pope. Go figure all that mess out. But I mean, you just sit back and go, guys, can't we all just live together like the Rajneeshis, right?
Right. Can't we all just get along?
So we see them, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. And Jeff, the reggae hippie bass player,
spelled with a G.
Like, had dreadlocks been a thing at the time, this would have been he didn't have dreadlocks, but he would have been a dreadlock dude.
Right.
Like, give it another decade.
You could tell that was in his future.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, he was a beautiful guy, really sensitive, and he'd calm me down. You know, I'm the drummer. I'm like,
very low key, calming guy.
Yeah, he'd be like, well, you know.
Right.
And I think he was just slightly older than I was too. And so he goes, well, yeah, it's all right. You know, they have a club. I met a girl at a club who's a Rajneesh. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Wow. And he's like, yeah. They have a dance club.
That blows my mind.
And I'm like, really?
That
he goes, yeah, I've been there with this girl. They're just friendly. They dance a lot. And, you know, of course, I don't think he mentioned they liked sex, too. That was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Which, you know, okay, my whole thing is the bigotry against the sex thing. Look, you don't need a religion for that. You could just open up a private club. You don't need the worship. You could just have the sex, right?
That's what the Playboy Mansion is built on.
Call it something like, I don't know, the Velvet Rope, for example.
Hey.
You don't need no Bhagwan. You just join the party.
Just join the party. You know.
So anyway, he's like, no, I've been. We would actually go out and see bands together too. That was the other thing, and it was early '80s Portland, that new wave scene. There were some good bands. There was a band called Map of France.
I've heard of them.
I really liked. We both thought they were one of the best bands. They didn't go, and this was during a period. Look it up. Billy Rancher. Mm-hmm. And the Unreal Gods, they were a big band. Yeah. And then there was other bands like that. This is when Quarter Flash came out.
New Shoes.
Johnny and the Distractions.
Johnny and the Distractions. Yeah.
And all these. But the Map of France.
Crazy Eights,
which, by the way, releasing a new album on Record Day.
Yeah, Pink Martini.
When's Pink Martini? When's Record Day? Because I just got a notification. New Crazy Eights album drops on Record
this month
Day.
Sometime. Yep. I wonder if it's this
Might
weekend.
be this weekend.
Yeah.
New Crazy Eights album. Crazy Eights album.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway. So Map of France. I've tried to find stuff online. We really liked them. Yeah. We'd go to their shows and we'd see other shows. I saw Billy Rancher.
Nice.
Today.
Nice.
But and also all these bands played at our college too, and reggae bands and stuff. So it was very cool. But he explained to me, he was like, "Hey, it's really cool. You can go to the nightclub. They do the thing. It's hanging out."
Yeah.
And then of course he was like, "Well, if you don't know, you should go and check it out."
Mm-hmm.
And my response was, I don't think so, Jeff. That's just not my scene.
Woo, it's getting late, gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sad thing about that was that, you could hang out with the Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Maybe get some tail.
Party down. Yeah.
Now, so that was the thing.
Okay.
And again, I think they were militant. They were militant. It's like, I don't think that they were. They did very bad things.
Yeah.
Bhagwan eventually denounced Sheila for her militaristic stuff. Right. And if you really look at it, and if you read through the lines in the interviews, like this one lady who's this, and they're all sweet old people now, even Sheila. She's just a sweet old person now. She did her time. It's like, yeah, but you were really evil. You were basically a Nazi. This is the same thing. But if you had your way. Sheila at one point said she wanted to exterminate everyone in Oregon. And I'm paraphrasing, but
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was
it turned from commune into Waco.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And honestly, the way it was handled,
when good cults go bad.
When good cults go bad. And the way it was handled, I think, actually wasn't too bad. It was interesting, though, the aftermath of the Bhagwan flying around. And they did, the feds, they did make a big deal about the feds really mistreating Bhagwan. I get that.
Yeah.
You know, I get that. I mean, there were bad actions on both sides.
Sure.
But, and again, the thing is that I've recently talked to people who were growing up there. It was like, oh yeah, me and the whole family got really sick. And this is, again, the biggest, only biological terrorist act that ever happened on American soil.
Right.
Right there.
Yeah.
Rajneesh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so they were terrorists. You know?
In pretty much every sense of the word, yeah.
You know, here's the thing. Yeah. And you said the difference between commune and cult.
Yeah.
If you're on a commune, you're farming, maybe you're having free love or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you should have, it's a free country, you know? But you're farming your stuff. You don't have buildings full of chemical and biological weapons.
No.
You don't have an arsenal of machine guns and all these things.
Right. And I think the most common denominator between all of them, it's a good way to gauge if it's a commune or a cult, is the leader, the personality.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the cults always have that authoritarian type leader, whether it be a Bhagwan or
it's odd because
David Koresh or
they make it out
Applewhite.
Yeah, they make it out to that Bhagwan isn't as much of an authoritarian. It was more the people like Sheila around him.
Right.
And I don't know. But then there's evidence early on, you know.
Yeah, it's murky.
Because he did a good job of it. Because he's able to pull it back and go, hey, I'm just your guide here.
I'm above the
Worship
fray.
Me, I'm above the fray. Very good, yeah. So that was interesting. So Jeff was hanging out with the Rajneeshis, and he did. I don't think he joined. I can't remember. I don't think he did, because I'm like, dude, are you gonna join? Because the first thing is you wore the beads.
I believe so, yeah.
Which is beads and a little picture of Bhagwan, a little locket. That would be number one, and then number two, you go and throw all your clothes in and dye it.
Right, it was their version of that's the rosary. Their version of the rosary beads.
But it's like a picture of Bhagwan, so that's the thing.
Right.
So I think Jeff. I don't know. I think I told Jeff the only thing, literally. I think I told Jeff once. I said, Jeff, I just don't go in for all that culture stuff. He's like, yeah, but you should just come to the club and meet the people. It's fine. You don't have to join up. It's like, I know. But, again, this is a point where it's like you'd walk downtown. Okay, I'm going to go into a club run by a cult.
Yeah.
On my way there, I'm going to get 10 people asking me for a free personality test. 4 Bible thumpers telling me that gay people are going to hell. I mean, it's just like, dude, enough with this stuff. I'm taking philosophy and science. I'm playing music. Live and let live.
Yeah,
be an individualist.
Right, but if you do it, it also feels like doesn't it also feel like you're then stepping over kind of a line, even if it's just metaphorically, right?
Yeah.
Like you can keep it at arm's length. Well, I get what you're doing, but I don't really want to step into that because once you do step into that, who knows?
Well, also it was like
I don't know.
Yeah, rugged individualism and
I
don't know. Also, I was a scaredy cat. Come on. I mean, come on. I just was like, whoa, what will happen to me?
Right.
And then, people would be like, oh, if you so much as talk to someone, you'll join a cult. They'll hypnotize you. They hypnotize you right on the street. They hypnotize you.
That's right.
That was always the thing. They'll hypnotize you.
Brainwash.
I know, but it's like, dude, if you have a strong character... Like our hypnosis folks, our guests, are like, you're not going to get hypnotized.
But Yeah, but when popular culture, the Manchurian Candidate
good movie,
and people getting brainwashed. And people rightly, like I said, they don't want to step over.
Just a bunch of old ladies drinking tea.
Right.
That's all it is. I see nothing.
Right. Our cult is just a bunch of middle-aged dudes eating patty melts.
Well, we're working on the lodge, and the cult will be next.
Read the lodge.
We'll write some books.
Right.
Anyway, So I think I told Jeff, I said, at my final conclusion was like, you know what? I've dedicated my life and my soul to rock and roll. Yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing more individualistic than dedicating your life to rock and roll.
Once you plant that flag in the ground, people know it. Like, damn, he has given his life for rock and roll.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I mean, you might call that a cult yourself.
Pledge allegiance to the state of rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. Cue up the AC/DC, right?
Right. Right. For those about the rock,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Like, I'm going to, as soon as the show's over, it's like, turn on the AC/DC.
Right. Or maybe if you're feeling extra, maybe you want to do a little Panama. You turn on a little Van Halen, Panama. Like, see there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. David Lee Roth wasn't a Rajneeshi, was it?
No. Okay. Spoiler alert. No, he was a cult unto himself. David Lee Roth is a cult unto himself.
Right.
No, there's spoiler. I will give you a spoiler alert.
Excellent.
And I am going to spoil it. There is an episode of Lost in Space where at some point the song Panama features prominently in the scene. I know. I was just, and it was like totally unexpected. And then it was like, oh no, they're playing the vet. Yes, Yeah. I mean, it was cheesy, but I was like, it's it's entertaining though.
It has been.
But Wild Wild Country.
I will check that out.
Yeah.
But it is scientifically proven. I mean, 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed have said that it is literally impossible for you to be in a bad mood while listening to Panama.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that just makes you happy.
Or playing it on the drums.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Hot for Teacher? Because at the very beginning it's at the...
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like...
There's some technical things going on there that we don't have time to go into, but
yes.
I've actually done it in rehearsal before.
Cool.
But I've performed Panama live on stage on multiple occasions in different. Interestingly enough, when you're in like an old geezer, like you find yourself in an old geezer rock band entertaining maybe your coworkers or something, and one of the songs is like, "Hey, we should do Panama." It's like, do you know? It's like, yeah, I know Panama. I used to play it back in the day. Do you know Panama? Because I got the part right here.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of a drum. It's got a nice little weird drum beat to it.
Hey, mama, what's that sound? Here she comes, foot tapping, toe down, hot shoe burning down the
avenue.
Whole
album's
Model Citizen.
That whole album.
Zero Discipline.
See, and that came out like a couple years, a year or two after me and Jeff were talking about the Rajneeshis and playing the Bob Marley and the reggae and the.
That's right.
And
was
the
that
Rocksteady
Tosh?
Was
that around the Legalize It time?
It might have been
Peter Tosh.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Marley guy. I like Peter Tosh.
Oh, I love Bob Marley.
I'm more of a redemption song kind of guy.
Yeah. No, love me some Bob Marley.
No Woman, No Cry.
No Woman. One of the greatest.
My favorite, those Three Little Birds.
Trenchtown Rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Why hasn't anyone never named a band and called them Trenchtown?
I think they have. They probably have.
That name is screaming.
I think they have. Yeah. I think there might have been a local reggae band called that at some point. Anyway.
Did I ever tell you I wanted to start a band and call them, I wanted to give it the name of the, Jehovah's Witness Protection Program.
Oh,
I just thought that was, don't steal it, folks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. That's all I got. I'm gonna have to go. But it's I didn't. We covered like L-cysteine.
Oh, we did
lots of food. Yeah, and the Rajneeshis.
Yeah, we did good work today.
And
let's see. Okay, antique small.
It is actually getting warm.
Yeah. We've done the Patty Melts check. Let's see. Cults versus communes check.
Oh, my word.
Okay.
Cults versus communes.
That's right.
It is actually relatively warm.
I like it. Can you get it, Matt? Is that right? Oh, nice.
Okay, the reason I don't partake
yeah.
is, well, maybe with one exception, but generally the times I have tried it in a very adult-oriented setting, not driving or anything,
sure.
It's like, come on, you gotta try it, come on.
Sure.
It makes me really paranoid.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
For some weird reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just
I did.
I'm not
once
a very
have an anxiety attack, and it actually surprisingly then it helped, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but
well,
I'm just not.
I'm not a real common user though. I'm not hardly ever, but
yeah.
I will tell you a while ago I was listening to Moroccan Moroccan trance music, and it brought new meaning to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of news. Well, maybe we can do it Monday or whatever.
No, I think Monday we have a guest coming in.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, we had the band, the Brinksmen.
Okay.
They got some upcoming gigs.
Okay.
Coming out.
I should put that on my calendar then.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Monday at 4.
Yeah. And
I think it's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday.
I'm supposed to.
Either Monday or Friday. I don't know. Everything's kind of.
I'm supposed to do some Craigslist transactions after this. Yeah, why is it like always like a show day?
Yeah.
Like you're out all week, supposedly. Although, yeah, I don't know.
That makes it sound almost nefarious, though.
It does.
I've got some Craigslist business to go on.
People get flaky, too.
Yeah.
You know, the bigger stuff,
like
once you find a buyer who's qualified, it's like, yes, this is you. You know, I've had good luck, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you know.
Yeah. They know what they want, and that's a very specific thing, and they're...
I've got the brains, you've got the look. Let's make lots of money.
Yeah.
You know, but the littlest things are always kind of the flakiest.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're just like, dude, okay, just get here. It costs you this much.
Right.
I'm just trying to spring clean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. But I can't complain. I have good luck. I price things well. I'm a good person. You know, and then you get the one annoying guy that's trying to chew you down. I'll give you $10 for it. It's like, I'll give you 5 big ones.
No. I really like the look of this. I like it. I give you $1.
Yeah, no.
No, I want 50. Yeah, okay, that's good. How about $2?
You know, I just have to try to learn from those fine folks at Section B2 of Antique Alley. I'm going to have to tell them we mentioned them. They'll like it.
That's right.
One of these days, maybe we'll talk to Clint.
Maybe we'll do a live remote from Antique Alley.
Oh, we've talked about... Actually, I've talked about it behind the scenes. Dude, it's pretty amazing.
See you there, folks.
We should go to the diner there.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Don't. Yeah. No. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, see you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, and I totally forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck.
Rip City. I'm gonna go home and have a patty melt.
That's tomorrow night. Can we cross this, Blazers? Maybe get a win out of it there in New Orleans.
Come on, you can take down these Pelicans.
Anthony Davis, the machine. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck to the Blazers.
Good luck. Indeed.
Let's hope they put a W there in the playoffs and stay safe, everybody.